Hello, hello, everyone. We are just waiting for my Instagram to show up, and then we will be able to start. Today, we will do the relationship crisis. I was thinking about it. Okay, good. We have it. Perfect. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Good. Let me know. Let me know. 5 types of relationship crisis. The topic of relationship is it's like in every single session that comes up. Even if people come for their own issues, when they come for anxiety or confidence, it's still about relationship as well. Everything you have inside yourself will show up in your relationship. Romantic relationship, work relationship, friendships, family. And at some point, there is a crisis. And we will talk about romantic relationship today. However, you can definitely put it on one level with work relationship as well, or friendships or family, doesn't matter. Thank you so much. Yes, let's begin. Okay, so when the relationship crisis happens, it happens first when the needs are not met or they are not met anymore. Because when we meet people, we feel like, all of my needs are met. But with time, we realize that our needs change. We have different expectations from ourselves and from others. And in that way, some of our needs might not be met. What are these needs? The needs are feeling loved, praised, appreciated, heard and understood, accepted, feeling connected and belonging. And so we all want to feel that in every relationship. And the reason, your initial intention, why you step into the relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's just a relationship without official arrangement, maybe it's a long-term relationship, common law relationship, the reason, the intention that you step into that relationship will define the crisis you're going to have. Let me tell you what are these intentions are. Some people usually step into the relationship because of love, right? They feel the connection, they feel the love. But not every relationship starts because of that. Love can have also underneath other intentions. And let's cover them. One of them is running away from something. Very often we step into the relationship when we want to run. When we want to run from something. Whether if you were young and you got married, it could be running away from home, from controlling environment at home. Maybe it's running away from previous relationship. Maybe it's running away from loneliness. So you have been single for some time and you're just, I'm just done being single. I'm just going to start any relationship. The girl, the guy seems to be okay. Let's do it. So whether you are running away from something will also define what kind of crisis you're going to have. Another thing is social expectations. Sometimes you are like, I'm 38 or I'm 42 and I'm still not in a relationship, and all of my friends are already married and having kids. Social expectations, right? The pressure, the status. That could be also an intention to step into the relationship. That doesn't mean, by the way, that the relationship is not going to be loving and supportive and very, very well established. No, there is sometimes people come into the relationship as an arrangement and they find themselves very happy. Another reason is codependency, right? I cannot be happy without someone. I cannot be happy without a person by my side. So that could be a reason why you step into a relationship. That means that later on, you're going to have a crisis that is going to correspond. And we're going to go through 5 crises. It's going to correspond to the crisis that we're going to talk about. Another reason and intention is money, right? Money. Sometimes we are in poverty. We need to step into the relationship because we need to support, because together, the income kind of figures out better. Sometimes it happens like that. Pressure from the family, fears of being alone, right? So fear of being alone. Like, I can't be alone. What if I'm going to be alone for my whole life? It's better to be with someone, at least with someone, but not alone. So fear of loneliness is huge when we make decision to step into the relationship. Sometimes it's a very strong physical connection. So you might have the red flags. You might definitely notice the red flags in the relationship before that. But the physical attraction is huge. And that could also be the intention that could later on lead to the crisis. Sometimes we want to control. So we step into the relationship because we want to control someone. That happens as well, and I've seen this relationship as well. The belief that no one will love me, no one else will love me. That could be as well an intention. So you need to look behind the intention that actually was the first intention why you got into the relationship. Could be illusions and fantasies. For example, we have illusions and fantasies that it's going to be magical. It's going, like, relationship is like a miracle. It's going to be all the time, just like it is in the first months of dating, or it's just going to be the same as in the first couple of months. Everything. How often do we hear the same phrase? Everything was perfect until one day, right? Subconscious mind doesn't know time. When something really good happens, when you feel romantic, when you feel attraction, when you feel like your needs are met, your subconscious mind doesn't care about the future. It really wants the pleasure right now and right here. And so you believe that this is what it is, and I want it forever, and I want it all the time. And life never is like this, right? Life is like this. So we meet someone and we are here. And then in the relationship, you have to go through all of these. And when we're here, we kind of don't want to really work on the relationship because it's kind of hard. And that's when a lot of marriages separate. So and by the way, when we start the relationship, we believe that 2 personalities come together. We believe that I'm a personality and they are personality as well, and we're coming together. No. In most cases, I'm not saying in everything, there are some very conscious and aware relationship. But in most cases, in the majority of cases, 2 traumas come together. 2 trauma come together, 2 egos. First, they are hidden under the romantic love, the first months, maybe sometimes even the first years. And then you notice the 2 egos coming together. And that's what actually is happening most of the time. So, and that will go right into this relationship crisis. Relationship crisis is the moment of disconnection. In this moment of disconnection, 2 things can happen. One thing, you become stronger in the relationship, and the other one, you disconnect even more. Disconnecting in the relationship doesn't mean that you cannot reconnect first. The other thing is, we are now mostly going to be talking about the relationship that don't have physical, sexual verbal abuse. So please, if you have any type of that, please comment me, and I will make a video about narcissistic abuse, about manipulations. We will cover some of the manipulations because we all manipulate and we are all manipulated. But if you want specifically on narcissistic abuse, psychopath, some other types of like abusive, toxic relationship, then comment please on any platforms you're watching the live. I will definitely check all of them, and we will do that live for sure, for sure. So the first type of the relationship is, I call it reveal crisis. What does that mean? That means that in the beginning, everything seems to be great. And then one day or one moment, everything collapses. If you ever heard someone, your friends, or maybe you experienced that, when you say, I saw his real face. Everything was good. It was kind of okay, but I saw his real face right at that moment, right when I got sick, or we had a child, or whatever it is. I saw the real face. It means that there were red flags before. You just didn't notice, or you chose not to notice, or people hid it very well. That's also possible, especially in the narcissistic relationship. People hide it and play a role so you can't even notice. You're like under suggestions, but not very beneficial suggestions. So when reveal crisis happens, in the first real crisis situation, struggle, challenging situation in the family, whether it is health related, could be family related, could be financial struggles. And we like, oh, I finally saw his or her real face. That's what it happens. In that crisis, what actually happens? Your illusions are crushed. Your fantasies, illusions, and ideas about that perfect relationship or any hope that you had before for that relationship to be very loving, perfect, crushed. It is emotionally a very painful experience. If you have any questions, please let me know. I see the Instagram. I don't see the Facebook and I don't see the YouTube, but I will definitely respond to everyone. Illusions. Did you have an illusion when you stepped into the relationship? If you did, if you believed it's going to be a miracle or perfect marriage, maybe you had those suggestions coming from your childhood that it has to be this, and this, and this way. When you saw something in your family, or you were dreaming. When we are dreaming, it's a beautiful thing to dream. But at the same time, we sometimes dream and fly away from the reality. And then the relationship, usually the crisis, brings you back to the reality. It happens in most cases in the beginning. So first 5 to 7 years of the relationship, sometimes in the first 3 months, really. And what can you do about it? Now you have to separate. Am I treated well? Am I treated well? Am I under manipulation? And am I under abuse? Now you have to think about your safety. If safety is okay, if it's just two egos clashing together, and you fight, and you now find that your values and your values are different, there is always a way to work around it. There is a way to work around it. If there is an abuse, if you notice there is suppression, abuse, physical, any type, then think about your safety first. Your safety first, especially if you have kids, because now you're responsible not only for your life, but for the life of your kids. The first stage, is it clear? Is it clear? Reveal crisis. When someone is revealing their true nature, it's not their true nature. It's actually their ego. nature, right? Someone is, it could be you, it could be your partner, it could be, yes, I see someone is commenting, I will respond later. Second crisis in the relationship. I call it, and it's my name. Those are my names. Those are my names. I call them like this because I just, only one is actually from psychology, but the other ones I call them. The second one is the couch, couch crisis. What happens? It's when the relationship become routine. There is no spark. There is no excitement, no thrill, no suspense, no intense feelings, right? Remember, when we step into the relationship, no matter how intense our emotions are, emotions can never stay on one level. Never, ever, because nothing is permanent. So they're going to be like this. So at some point, your intense emotions of intimacy, love, attraction, connection are going to go down and then up and then down and then up. That's normal. That's natural. However, we don't like that. We don't like that when we are coming back from the dopamine or serotonin or oxytocin. We don't like the crash of hormones. So when I call it couch, because like everyone is sitting on the couch, right? And you can notice that either your partner or you have lost interest, lost the spark. Everything became routine. You started to face a real situation, the decisions that you have to make together, and you can't find the common opinion on that. There is a lot of fights and conflicts, and suppression happens because when the relationship become routine, which is a very normal stage in every relationship. However, people who don't like that, they become bored. That's the rule of the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, when it can predict something, it gets bored. It's like loses interest. It's a natural ability of our subconscious mind. You can't go against it, but you can negotiate with your subconscious mind for sure. What happens in that crisis? Both partners or one partner is not investing in the relationship. So first, you're like super excited. You start to really make plans. Decisions are made very fast. When we are just started, to date, or we're just married, everything seems to be very easy, light, easygoing, right? And then someone is doing more things, and others don't invest that much into the relationship, or both partners disconnect and one goes to the basement to play video games, and one stays up caring for the kids or scrolling the social media. That's one of those crises. What happens? Usually people avoid, so it's an avoidance into addictions, right? When the relationship become routine, we go to our addictions. We go to shopping, over social media, video games, whatever it is. But we try to avoid the real issue. It's a normal coping strategy for our minds, for our psyche. It's a normal strategy to avoid its pain. I don't want this. At this point, the best what helps is couple therapy and difficult conversations. Really sitting together and talking together on different topics that are not very comfortable. Maybe your expectations are not met. Maybe you had expectations of this and this and this, and nothing of that happens. Maybe so that couch crisis happens, and in this one, we suppress. We start to okay, well, whatever. Maybe it's gonna get better. Maybe it's gonna, universe will figure it out. You see, universe gives us everything according to our old programs. So if you don't change the program, don't expect for the universe to give you different events or different beliefs or different reality. No, don't hope that universe will figure it out for you, because It will, by the way, but you won't like it. Most of the time, like, universe will figure it out, but you won't like the result. So, couch crisis. At this point, it's very important to communicate. To communicate. One of the most, the biggest, the strongest, one of the most important skills that have have to learn, even if we don't have it, is communication. Being able to communicate. Yes, the first time it will be fights, conflict, misunderstandings, ego, getting together. Everyone will try to prove their point. I'm right. You don't take care of me. No, I'm right. You don't take it. You're just sitting there. You're just sitting there. That's how it happens, right? We have this kind of a resentment in a couch crisis. Resentment happens, right? What needs to be done to get out of the couch crisis? First, communicate, because that's connection again, even if it's like with little conflicts and fights, but it's connection. Another thing is finding a thing that you will be interested in, both of you. I remember me and my husband, when we were immigrating to Canada, and before 2 years before we started the process, we had that couch crisis, right? Everyone was doing their own thing. I had my business. My husband had their business. We would meet together in the evening, have dinner, really like discuss something regarding parenting, and that's it. And we very quickly realized that, there isn't a lot of topics that we want to talk about. We started to have our own hobbies, our own, and it's good. But at the same time, together, we didn't spend that much time. We would spend time with friends, we would stay in companies, but not really together. And when we started to immigrate to Canada, we found that topic that we got both interested in. We started to be like, a project, let's do this, right? And then we started to communicate more, plan, dream, hope, discuss, describe what we want. And that reconnected again. Sometimes people find the sport that they go to. I have a couple that came to me for a session. They wanted the couple therapy, but I don't do couple therapy, but they came to me for individual sessions, and they found one thing that they both love to do. They love this new like pickleball. They love it, right? They love it. And I had another couple, another person that came to me and said they both also go to pickleball. So any type of sport or any type of hobby that you both can do that can reconnect and get you out of that couch crisis. Let's go. If you have questions, please let me know. Crisis number 3. Crisis number 3, called uneven crisis. Uneven crisis is when we have requirements from each other. Okay, so relationship has to be like this. You have to make money. I have to sit here. I have to make money. You have to sit. Like, the roles are very strictly separated. You should be doing this, this, and this. And if you don't do it, you don't love me. and like the uneven crisis, when someone, there is no balance. Relationship, and I remember Brene Brown, she was amazing at describing a powerful, strong relationship. She said, it's when today you are 90% and I'm 10. And tomorrow I am 10 and you are 90%. It's like this. It's not like, we have to do 50-50, 50-50. No, it's like this. Relationship is like a river where it needs to fill the hole. That's where it goes. Both go there. Both partners go there. So, for example, some partners think like, okay, I'm going to do this and you're going to do this. I'm going to be sitting here and inspire you, and you have to make all the money. You have to make millions because I inspire you, or vice versa. A lot of requirements from ourselves and from others. That is a beginning of another crisis, uneven crisis. Uneven when there is no balance. No balance. For example, in a relationship, okay, I have my own money. I will buy myself this, and I will give you only money for this. If, for example, a woman is caring for the child and a woman doesn't have money yet, right? She's not making an income. And then she feels very repressed and suppressed at that moment. It's that uneven crisis, right? The relationship is today 10, tomorrow 70, tomorrow 50, like that's how it goes. Today, one partner can make 99% of an income, and tomorrow, that partner can get sick and can go on disability for 6 months. What's then? Oh, that's not a relationship then. No, then another partner stands up and makes 99% of the income. That's how it happens. That's the relationship that's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. If it doesn't happen, if we have some illusions of how it's going to be, how it's supposed to be, we have a lot of stories from childhood. A lot of stories from childhood, how things should be, how relationships should be. No one knows, really. No one knows but you, your heart. No one knows what's happening in your relationship but you. So uneven, right? When we start to say should, have, must, these three words, when we start to use these three words, you should, you must, you have to. That's the uneven crisis. How to get out of the uneven crisis? That's the start of the healing journey. Usually, this crisis happens between 30 and 40 years old. People become more wise because before 2030, I haven't seen that much clients with these problems, but I'm sure there could be. In this time, when that happens, it's a start of the healing journey. You cannot have the second half of your life, which is after 40, the same way as you had it before 40. You cannot. Psyche is changing. Your beliefs are changing. Your values are changing. And so between 30 and 40, where people say midlife, we're going to go into the midlife crisis, by the way. But before the midlife crisis, right? It's the start. If you don't want to have a midlife crisis, personal and in the relationship, before that goes uneven crisis. And you need to start the healing journey. Start to uncover your limiting beliefs, traumatic experiences, suppressed, repressed emotions, memories, reevaluate. That's the best. And then you will smoothly go through your 40s, 50s. In the relationship as well, by the way. In the relationship as well. So that's in order to come out of the uneven crisis, you both need to work on yourself. Both need to work on yourself. That's what happens. And it either happens or it doesn't. But that's the way out. If you would, because very often people don't want to hear why. They just want to hear, I want out, what to do. So if you see that uneven crisis, when it happens, where there is no balance, right? There are lots of requirements, expectations. We demand a lot from our partners. We criticize and judge a lot, or we are being judged and criticized or manipulated. It happens when we are not happy with ourselves. We don't know. It's the time to do the work, to do the inner work. That's how you're going to come out of it. Number 4, the crisis in the relationship. And that's one that I took from the psychology, the name, because I didn't know how to really name it, midlife crisis. It happens in the relationship as well. What happens, it's a second stage of our life, right? It's between 40, 45, sometimes 50. What triggers this trauma? Loss of parents, loss of kids are leaving the house. Because when kids are leaving the house, now 2 partners are together. There is nowhere to look, nowhere to avoid, nowhere to hide, right? It's just together, right? So that's what happens. The trigger could be the loss. When a human being loses their parent, no matter what relationship they had with their parent, it's kind of they have a huge deeper in it's in our unconscious mind. We cannot even track it, but it happens growing up. Like suddenly growing up, suddenly you realize there is no one like behind you, right? You are the oldest in your generation, right? It's a realization that can come with a pain and with a stress. Health problems, health where you cannot perform the same way as you performed before 40. That's what the midlife crisis. You cannot perform intimately. You cannot perform physically. You cannot perform emotionally anymore the way you did before. That could trigger the midlife crisis as well. How to come out of the midlife crisis? Usually, in this moment, people need to find out what they love. It is about supporting each other in finding, is that what I want? Is it actually, am I climbing the right ladder? If you ever read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, I remember this phrase, and I'm sure it has been reiterated in different books and videos already. You climb and you climb and you climb and you climb your ladder, your career ladder or business ladder, whatever, personal ladder. And then you turn around and you're like, oh shit, it's not the one. It's not the right one. So you have to go down. You can just jump. You have to go down and go up again sometimes. So that's what happens. That's what happens in the crisis. Finding, supporting each other. A midlife crisis is when two partners sometimes are lost and confused together. And in this way, they need help. They need guidance. They need to watch movies together on this matter. The therapy together. It works beautifully well. If you realize, okay, I've lived with this person for 8 whatever years, I want to still keep this relationship. And the fifth one is and by the way, in the fourth one, in the midlife crisis that happens in the relationship, trauma comes out. Usually between 35 and 45, the trauma comes out. We cannot suppress and repress anymore. And when the trauma comes out, the ugliness comes out as well, like the panic attacks, the health problems, the anger issues, the addictions, the avoidance, numbness, medication, all of it, all together, all at the same time. And it's challenging. So challenging. Usually, this is another, the second. So the first one was in an uneven crisis, the sign from the universe that you need to start the healing journey. The midlife crisis is like, do it because if you don't do it, like you're gonna get sick. You're gonna get sick, mentally and emotionally and physically. Fifth crisis, spiritual crisis. So what happens? It could happen at any time, by the way. Spiritual crisis is when one of the partners, or both, but if it's a crisis, then one of the partners are starting to grow spiritually, starting to be very interested, or maybe you have been interested in healing, in spirituality, in self-development, but your partner doesn't. Your partner doesn't really support it. What happens then? Right? What happens then happens, I don't have a pen here, but I do have my glasses, right? So what happens? There was some kind of balance in the relationship, and then someone starts to grow. And then the other one doesn't feel that good anymore. They feel either resentment or they start to control, like, no, don't change. Don't change. I like the older version of you. Right? Don't change. And so that's what happens. But the other one is already on the healing journey, already on the self-development journey. There is no way back, by the way. Once you start to heal, there is no way back. It's a snowball. And Once you go and you start to learn more things, you start to want more things for yourself. Your priorities change, your values change, your desires change, your choices, decisions change, and your partner might not be there yet. And that's when one of the biggest crises happen. It can happen at any time. It can happen at any time in the relationship. Spiritual crisis. And in this moment, if the other partner is getting inspired and grows as well, it's beautiful. Then it's beautiful because they both grow together. It's beautiful. Another moment, one goes to therapy, one feels really bad, and one goes to therapy, and the other one doesn't. And so the other one starts to realize, one partner realizes, okay, yes, it can be changed. Okay, let's do this, let's try this. They hear from therapists different, help, tricks, hacks, advices, and then the other one doesn't want to do that. And we want to control, we want to change that. We get frustrated, and the other partner as well. They get frustrated about you changed, you're not the same as you were before. Spiritual crisis. It doesn't matter if it's regarding spirituality or regarding personal life or personal development, inner work, healing, right? But it's that difference, and very often you grow together, right? What can get you out of that crisis? If you really want to work on your relationship, you want to keep it together. What can happen in that time is when one person lets go, the person that grows spiritually, mentally, emotionally, they let go and they allow their partner to make their own decision. They take the time, they take the patience, they work on themselves, and then they observe. And at some point, it happens very naturally. Either one partner follows because they see the difference. They see oh my God, he or she here, they are calmer, better, relaxed, more confident. I want that as well. And so they get inspired and they do the same, or they resent it and they deny it and they reject it and they push it away. That also can happen. But you have no control over it. You have no control over other people. No matter how much we want to show and to enlighten our partners, it's not possible. It's going to be met with more resistance, and you're going to be frustrated, and they're going to be frustrated as well. So that's what happens in this phase, which can happen at any time as well. Two things happen. Either you grow together, you grow stronger, or if one of the partners is able to let go of the desire to change the other person, when both partners, or they separate, or the relationship end. Relationship can end at any of these stages and these crises. Why in the beginning I said that depending on your intention, that's what crisis you're going to have. Look, if you're running away from something, if you were getting married, or you would marry someone, or you would date and step into the relationship, if you were running away from something, then the midlife crisis is there for sure to catch up on you. Because the truth, you're always going to be triggered, come back to yourself, to find out what you love, to find out what were you running from. Marriage is not running away from. A relationship is not running away from. It's a co-creation, not a missing puzzle. I just recorded today the video on fear of abandonment and codependency for YouTube. And I was talking about this. No, your partner is not a missing puzzle for you. Stop saying that, please, because you program your mind to feel dependent on someone. You put your happiness in someone else's hands. I can't live without you. I don't know. I've been waiting for you my whole life. Really? Your whole life, even as a toddler? No. Right? So, status, money. When the status and money were the reason for the marriage or for the relationship, then the crisis will be uneven crisis, right? The balance, there will be requirements, there will be dissatisfaction, there will be money conflicts, money problems. All right, that's what can happen. If, for example, you had codependency, for example, the spiritual crisis, it's going to bring you out of the dependency, the spiritual crisis. So if no one will love me, I'm just going to step into the relationship because no one else will love me but that person, right? So I need to just grasp whatever I can get. Sometimes that could be the reason. And in that case, people will have as well midlife crisis. Midlife crisis. They will have couch crisis because they will get to that routine. They will have that reveal crisis as well because the intention were not coming from heart. Intention was coming from fear. So it was coming from fear. That's when we have the biggest problems. Crisis is a natural process of life. You wouldn't know day if you didn't know night. You wouldn't know good if you didn't know bad. You wouldn't know pain if you didn't know what's good is. So crisis will happen. It's the way you process it. It's the way you approach it. If you approach it, oh, okay, this is what's happening. Okay, let's communicate. Let's communicate. But but you can do that when you do the work, when you become aware of yourself, become aware of your feelings and emotions. Right? Please, I have a free course. I have a free course on my website. Become aware of your feelings, become aware of your thoughts, become aware of your body, become aware of other people's behaviors. It's a free course. It's a beautiful course. My clients who have passed this course, they loved it. There's a lot of information you can learn from there, and it's for free. It's there on my website. So sign up and see if you can learn something about yourself. You become aware of every situation that comes in your life. And as you become aware of every situation, you can deal with it. You can resolve it, not avoid it, numb it, suppress it, get angry, whatever. When you become aware, the problem is not the goal is not to avoid crisis. The goal is to smoothly transition, and come out stronger. It's going to happen. It happens in every relationship. There is some kind of crisis, either all five or just one. I had a couple that they said it's perfect until this moment. It was perfect for 22 years or 25 years. It was perfect until this time. So some people might not have these relationship crises, and only one and happening suddenly. But some people will have it, all five, one by one, crashing like a snowball. But the goal is to become aware of them and to smoothly get through them and come out stronger. No matter what happens, by the way, after that, even if you separate, even if you decide to end the relationship, you can end it on an incredible note if you're aware. You can end it on friendship. You can end it on partnership. You can end it on a very good note if you become aware. Sometimes it's not possible. Yes, very often we end relationship. It's an ugly, as they say, it's an ugly separation or it's an ugly divorce. That happens as well. But as you work on yourself, you can react to it differently and not get triggered all the time. So take the course. I have a free course. It's beautiful. Maybe in summer I will do the relationship course. I had some people asking me, by the way, on Instagram to make the relationship course where both partners can work together on growth, and healing. It will have childhood trauma. It will have ego. It will have anger issues. It will have everything, and how to communicate together. I might do that for people who are waiting, and I have people asking me for a year now. But it takes time to create it so that you can benefit from it. I love you all. Be healthy emotionally and physically, and be able to come out of the crisis. Bounce from it. Bounce from it like a tennis ball. Bye.